Hi, welcome to MagicGatheringStrat. This is Julien, and you're joining me for a Journey into Nyx sealed event. This is with the beta spotlight, so unfortunately can't use the older version 3, which I vastly prefer, but the beta is now at a stage that it is somewhat playable. So first thing I'm going to do is sort by rarity. So just to let you know, because I don't play with this very often, there's a good chance that I won't be able to navigate the program as well as I could. But I have played with the beta a few times in the past. I still do prefer the other one though. So to begin with, I picked the white, what was it? Forged in Glory, I think, which comes with Dawnbringer Charioteers. The reason I picked that is because this is just a really efficient card. White is fairly good in Journey. The other alternatives that I could support would be black or blue, because the blue pre-release card, Floodtide Serpent I think it's called, it's pretty powerful. When it comes down, it bounces most of your opponent's creatures away, and it's a 6/6. And the black card, Doomwake Giant, which we actually have one of in our pool, just gets really powerful. And it is possible to open two of these, and when you do that, your deck just gets very disgusting. But yeah, I picked the white one. I think the white one is the best. Not by a wide margin, but it's still. A 4 mana 2/4 flying and lifelink and heroic is just very strong. So let's put that in our deck, our hypothetical deck. Let's have a Celestial Archon, the pre-release card from Theros, which is also very good. So that's a good start already. Launch a fleet, quite playable, good at activating heroic. Let's add that. It's going to add a 2-drop and a 3-drop to the deck so that we can sort by cost. I mean, we're going to play all these cards, Ghostblade Eidolon, a Crawling Sky card. If we're in white, we're playing them. Doomwake Giant's pretty good. Cetessan Tactics is pretty good. And our other two rares are pretty negligible. This card's just bad, and Colossus of Akros, nope, don't go in there. It's just way too expensive for a format like Theros. Crow and Phalanx has a good chance of making our deck. At very worst, it's a 4 mana 3/3 with upside. Armory of Irolas, I played with this a little bit at the pre-release. I'm not crazy about this card. I played it in Two-Headed Giant, where I think it's actually a bit stronger, because one of you can set up while the other one of you can just assemble a battleship with an Army of Irolas on it, and it's very hard for them to keep up with. Tethmos High Priest isn't bad. Let's see. This card is a trap. It's like borderline playable if you have a lot of heroes, but you need a lot. Sea Lock Monster's okay, but I'd rather not play blue at the moment. Noble Quarry's not bad. This card's pretty good. Removal. Flying and lifelink. So our black's pretty decent. I'm not sure how good Cura's Dismissal is at the moment. I haven't seen it played much, so I just can't tell you, honestly. Now I'm going to go back to Sort by Colour, because we have a lot of commons. If I go through the common stack like this, it'll take a lot longer and be very hard to see what we're doing. Sort by Colour. Supply Line Cranes, I like this card a decent amount. It's actually worse in Theros than it would normally be. You can basically see it as a 5 mana 3/5 flying, which is pretty good, and sometimes it's better than that. So this is just a very strong card. Divine Verdict, almost definitely making our deck. Removal's good. Our white seems good. Got Wingsteed Rider here. Oh, being a bit weird. Okay, it's taking a while to load the pictures on the cards. Strange. So Wingsteed Rider, got a good chance of making our deck. As in, like, we're probably playing white, and if we're playing white, we're definitely playing Wingsteed Rider. So there's an Alseid. Oh, cool, you can see the background of the Nyx frame. Let's see if I minimize, bring it up again. Yeah, the art pops up. So this is like, the beta program just has a lot of small bugs to it. Hopefully we don't encounter any big ones, because that would just be annoying. Yeah, and it's sort of glitching out a bit. This is why I play the old one. They just have not upped the beta enough for me to be happy with it. Oreska Swiftclaw, 2 mana 3/1, perfectly fine card. I'll play 2 to 4 of these. Certainly better than a Cetessan Battle Priest, but Cetessan Battle Priest can be good against aggressive decks. Going to ban Trailblazer, normally just okay, but we have a few things activate Heroic, so I'm going to play that. Ajani's Presence, definitely playable. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4 heroic creatures, I think? 5 with Tethmos High Priest, which is very good with Oreska Swiftclaw actually, because it can bring them back into play. And they are like low level removal spells, so not too bad. Sorry there, it's a bit of a burp. Mortal Obstinacy. This could make our deck. I'll put it in there tentatively. This card isn't that good. It's 1 mana to give a thing +1/+1, which isn't amazing, even with Heroic. The second ability can be useful if you can kill something good, and we do have 2 flying Heroic creatures and a bunch of stuff they won't necessarily want to block, but I'd still be wary. Armament of Nyx might make our deck. A Crow and Mastiff almost definitely will. The ability to tap down their things is just really powerful. So already we're almost mono-white and we've got a good deck. So what we want now is the best complement to that. We have 2 Warwing Sirens, which are very good heroic creatures as well. Aside from that, in blue we have a Hubris, and that's it. So that's probably not enough blue to make me interested. I'll quickly go over a look at my lands. No Temples, an Unknown Shores, and a Traveler's Amulet. So won't necessarily be playing any of those, but we might. In black we've got 2 Bloodcrazed Hoplites, which are pretty good. Got a Font of Return, which is okay. A Nyxborn Eidolon. Returned Reveler, which I don't care about. Cruel Feeding, which is one of the less impressive heroic cards. Asphyxiate, which is decent removal. And a Green Merchant. So that looks okay, but it's not very exciting. In red we have a few normal creatures, Ill-Tempered Cyclops, Spearpoint Oread. There we go. Got 2 Akroan Linebreakers, which can deal damage, but I don't like these cards as much as some. Like, even when you're going off with them, you're just getting through for extra damage, which heroic creatures already do very well, and so do things that are getting targeted by combat tricks and bestow cards. Like, it's just doing more of what your cards are already doing, which isn't ever where I like to be. Got 2 Satyr Hoplites, which are okay. They're not bad. Yeah, also not exciting. In green we have Leafground Ride, which is pretty good. Satyr Grove Dancer, which is okay. Solidarity of Heroes, which is a trap. Ravenous Lucrocoda, I think. Snake of a Golden Grove. I'd probably play this over the Centaur Battlemaster. Centaur Battlemaster just having 3 toughness is a real weakness. It really is. I just don't like the card that much. Okay. So, what are the upsides to each colour? Green has Cetessan Tactics, which is very good. Unfortunately, it requires us to play a lot of green, which we're not going to do at any stage. So, it's not very splashable either, unfortunately. Yeah, blue doesn't have too much for us, neither does red. They've both got playable cards in it. The Satyr Hoplites I like in red. Same with like Ill-Tempered Cyclops. Akroan Linebreaker's okay. I'm not saying it's bad, just it doesn't excite me. I think black has more exciting stuff than red or blue. The 2 Bloodcrazed Hoplites are definitely kind of cool. Especially in sealed, you're more likely to face a few random heroes and monsters from most decks. The Font of Return is kind of nice. I'm not sure if I'd main deck it, but I might. Like, get 3 creatures. Unfortunately, drawing 3 cards is a bit better, because you always know you'll have cards in your library. You won't necessarily have 3 creatures in your graveyard for the Font of Return. So I probably wouldn't actually main deck this in a deck that's kind of aggressive, like ours would be. I just don't think we're going to play green here. There's not enough going on. How many enchantments do we have? Right now, including stuff like Mortal Obstinacy, which we might cut. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an instant. 5, 6, 7. 7 enchantments for Doomwake Giant, which is enough. It usually means you'll get its ability off 2 to 3 times in a game. I mean, once it comes down, it already triggers its own ability, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I think I might play Unknown Shores here, because it will let me activate the Acrone Phalanx's ability, which is pretty decent. I'm not saying I necessarily will. I might just not do that. But being able to do that and still have access to that second black mana for an Insatiable Harpy or an Asphyxiate, or that second white mana for a Wingsteed Rider or a Dawnbringer Charioteers, when you've got like 5 lands out, is decent. That said, I really don't like Unknown Shores, it's not a good card. What a weird looking card. This card's not that good. I'd rather 6/5 trample most of the time. 29 cards here. So let's just separate spells. Whoop. There we go. From creatures. Won't necessarily play Armory of Iroas either, but I like it more than Mortal Obstinacy right now. Equipment is just good, especially in sealed. Alright, so is this all creatures? Okay, there's one that's not. Where's my lot? There we go, Divine Verdict. So 29 cards, so we need to cut a few here. I definitely don't want that in the main deck. Our 2 drops look pretty good. 5 drops. I could cut Grey Merchant from this kind of a deck. It just doesn't have that much devotion, but Grey Merchant is such a good card. Same with Armament of Nyx. There's not many enchantments we really want to give double strike to, like maybe Doomwake Giants or Celestial Archon, but this already has first strike. Like, it's a bit of a win more card. Could cut Armory of Iroas. Not sure about Laguna Band Trailblazer, but we've got a few bestow things. Like bestow, 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 and Celestial Archon counts, but it's a bit expensive. It's a shame we don't have the Shield Mate. That would be nice. Or Chosen by Heliod as well. Those are both pretty good for Laguna Band Trailblazer. At the moment, it's just not that exciting. Eagle of the Watch. Could maybe cut that. Acrone Phalanx, yeah, I'll just cut this. No need to mess around. Got a fine deck here. Supply Line Cranes. Aside from that, like, all the other cards here are pretty good. Except for maybe Laguna Bound Trailblazer. But we don't need to cut that many cards. And Launch a Fleet makes that card better. Let's see. I'm not a huge fan of Armament of Nyx. We've got 3 removal spells anyway. Plus Keepsake Organ, plus Doomwake Giant, plus a Grown Mastiff. Plus our heroes are just... they put pressure down. 26, need to cut 3 more cards. The thing is, I like Eagle of the Watch as a bestow target. Once you put a bestow on it, it gets pretty good. Just having Vigilance is really relevant with bestow. It also carries Armory of Iroas really well, but if we're going to cut this, then this is less exciting. So we need to cut 3 more cards. I don't really want to cut Supply Line Cranes. It's pretty good at stabilizing the board when it comes down. So I think I'll cut these 2. And probably Grey Merchant. Just considering if I want to put Armory of Iroas back in and cut the Lagonaban Trailblazer. Could very well be the case. I think it is actually. Just because I've got lots of heroic creatures already, and Armory of Iroas can just turn any creature into a threat pretty quickly. I've got 17 creatures, which is a nice amount. And yeah, against more aggressive decks, I can certainly bring back the Lagonaban Trailblazer, but this is sealed. You're not going to be facing that many red-white decks. So, what we've got here, no 1-drops, but that's to be expected. A bunch of 2s, a bunch of 3s, some 4s, and a few 5s. Which we have Celestial Archon and Keepsake Organ, which are very good late game. Doomwake Giant, which is just a solid card. Supply Lane Cranes is a very solid card. Dawnbringer Charioteers can just control games. So can Insatiable Harpy. Cron Mastiff is just a solid card. Taps down their threats. At our 3s, we've got a good number of role players. Got a nice number of targets for our Deathmoss High Priest. Bloodcrazed Hoplite is a good 2-drop. Reska Swiftclaw is good. Cronus Skyguard's good. Got some bestows going on. Like, overall, I like where our deck is. We've got some removal spells. Other ways we could have gone with this deck. We could have tried to go green. I mean, Loof Ground Ride is very good. Cetacean Tactics is amazing when you're actually casting it. Noble Quarry can be fine, but it's very expensive for what it does. Snake of the Golden Grove is like playable. First Band Thunderhoof is okay. I quite like the Ravenous Lucricoda. It's just efficient enough at what it does. But like, aside from those 6 cards, there's really not much going on in green. In red we have the 2 Satyr Hoplites, 2 Acroan Linebreakers, Spearpoint Oread, and Ill-Tempered Cyclops, which is just worse than the green, really. When you look at it, like, all the green cards are just better than these. Except for, like, Ill-Tempered Cyclops is a bit better than Ravenous Lucricoda, but not much. Black, we still have Green Merchant and Rotted Hulk if we really need to go defensive. Mogus' Marauder's not the worst if we want to bring that in. Font of Return's a nice sideboard card, and 2 Cruel Feedings, which can be okay against some more aggressive decks. In white we have Mortal Obstinacy as a sideboard card, it's pretty sweet. Griffin Dreamfinder, probably don't care about that ever. Eagle of Watch can be okay against someone with a lot of flyers. Armament of Nyx is just good against those big threats and big battleships. And the Lagonaban Trailblazer is also good against aggressive decks. And last but not least, well actually least, it is least, there's not much here. You've got Sealock Monster, 2 Warwing Sirens, which admittedly are very good. Sigiled Starfish and Omen Speaker, which are very similar cards. Hubris, which is a nice card. And Cura's Dismissal, which I have yet to play with much. Yeah, so white and black definitely have the most playables in each, and the most quality cards. Doomwake Giant's very good, so is Keepsake Organ. And just a lot of solid role players in black here. A lot of very good white cards. White's just very good in this set, and in the block in general. I'm going to add my basic lands now. Suggest 10-7. You can't drag it out of the way, that's annoying. How does 10-7 look? Yeah, 10-7 looks fine. Will be a little bit harder to cast Asphyxiate, but you can find a time and a place for this. And yeah, 10-7 seems fine. Add to deck. I definitely want to cast my white spells more. Sort by colour. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to submit the deck. Submission received. That's the one upside of this client. It's a bit more, it communicates a bit more with the player. But yeah, that's the deck, that's the sealed pool, and I'll see you guys for round 1.